Here, India is at 3 and the match has ended. So it means that we have unfortunately lost this encounter. Great Britain defeating India to win the hockey bronze medal. We were so close to winning that one. It was at 4-3. So we clearly gave it our all. This was an excellent match of hockey, a match really that we will remember for so long. And this Friday morning, for building us and giving us so much hope, for uniting us as a nation, we can only say thank you to these girls. They gave it their absolute best. They gave it their all. That was seen on the field with a score like 4-3. That itself tells you the story of what a close match this was. And we're so very proud of these girls. They're going to come home to a hero's welcome, no matter what, medal in hand or not. They're coming home to a hero's welcome. Siddhant, it was down to the wire. Look, it was a nail-biting game. It was a great game of hockey. So that at least was given. Yes, we were all hoping and praying there'd be a medal also when the girls get back home. But, you know, their campaign in the Olympics has been one that will be remembered for years to come.
Akshita, yes, it's true. It's a disappointing end for all of us, and not just the Indian women. I think so the entire country was cheering for them today. And unfortunately, they have lost, and no medal for India in women's hockey. But considering, as I was talking about just before we were talking, how they finished last in the Rio Olympics, 12 out of the 12 teams that were there. And this time they have at least finished 4th. They are now world number 7 ranked team. And Indian women, by the way, 2016 was the second time, only the second time they had qualified for the Olympics. 1980 was the first time that when women's hockey was introduced. And then 2016 they played the second time, and this is only the 3rd time Indian women have made it to the Olympics. And after that disappointing start, they lost 1-5 to Netherlands, they lost 0-2 to Germany, then they lost 1-4 to Great Britain. After that, winning 1-0 against Ireland, then beating South Africa 4-3, and then beating Olympic champions Australia, 3-time Olympic champions Australia 1-0. And even that game against Argentina was so close for so long. We thought that India could win the game. They took the lead in the 2nd minute itself with Gurjeet Kaur scoring that penalty corner. From there to the disappointment today, of course, it sort of hurts everybody, and I'm sure more than us, it's the women out there, out on the field, who'd be feeling this hurt, because they have done incredibly well. They have performed so well. They've exceeded all expectations that not just us, the entire country had out of them, and they have shown us that India can do so well in women's hockey too. So this is the platform. Now this should be the benchmark from where we kick on. So when it happens, the Asian Games next, or the Commonwealth Games, or for that matter, even the Olympics in Paris 2024, we have to build from here, and we have to make sure that this side gets all that's needed for their development. So that at the grassroots also, we need to promote hockey as a sport for among girls. So because right now cricket dominates a lot of proceedings. Cricket is of course India's favorite game that way, but hockey is a national sport. So we need to make sure that we don't let this go away so easily. After years in the men's hockey team, 41 years it took us to get that bronze medal, and we got it. And this finish, even though we did not get a medal today, you have to stand up and applaud the character these women have shown, and the performance they have pulled off in these Olympics. We need to stand up and applaud
this is a campaign we should be proud of. Heartbreaking to really see all those girls there on the field breaking down, crying, because they were so invested in this. And we all truly believe that they stood a chance in winning a medal, coming back home with a medal. But nonetheless, we're so proud of them and the campaign that they've pulled off. They've still scripted history, very clearly still scripted history at the Olympics. As Siddhant pointed out, from being pushed out of the Rio in last place to make it now to the number 4 position is no small feat. They worked hard for this. Let's rejoice for all that they've given us, those spectacular moments of hockey. This particular match, which was such a nail-biter against a great team like Great Britain, it came down to the wire. The last few seconds, really, the last few minutes is what decided the match at this point. Until the very end almost, it was tied. And India looked like they would manage to equalize also and make it 4-all. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But these women can come back with their heads held high, because they've done such a great job of making the country proud. Medal or no medal, they're going to come home to a hero's welcome. And let's not forget this moment. Let's not forget this moment where we're celebrating hockey, whether it's the men's hockey team and them returning with bronze, or the women's hockey team finishing fourth. They've had a spectacular campaign at the Olympics, and we need to build on that, as Siddhant also pointed out. We need to ensure that these women feel that, they have conquered the world when they return, because they've had a stupendous campaign. They've given it their all. They, fought and played with their hearts, and that was so evident in this game as well. We lost, yes, but they won the hearts of every single Indian, and that's why these girls can come home with their heads held high, knowing full well that they've done a great job of holding up the country's flag high as well. We're getting in a lot of pictures. I'm going to connect with Boria also in just a bit from Tokyo to tell us what's really happening on the ground. But in the field, we were getting those pictures of these girls breaking down after the match ended. That's what this campaign meant for them. We truly stood a chance in winning bronze. Great Britain was the better side, but they were a great team. They're known to be world champions. So keeping that in mind, we still put up such a solid fight against a team where in the first few rounds of this very Olympic journey, in this very campaign, we lost so badly to Great Britain. And Siddhant, so many takeaways from this particular match, so many takeaways from this particular campaign that we will simply not forget about. We don't have a medal in hand to show for those accomplishments, but that doesn't matter. It's etched in our minds, and we really need to celebrate these girls.
We really need to celebrate these girls. You rightly point out, Akshita, they have done so well to come this far after the disappointing start they had. And considering Great Britain, we talk about, they are the reigning Olympic champions. So imagine if you have leveled the game 3-all, and they were winning 3-2 at one point. In fact, India, they were doing so well, and that too after they had gone down 0-2. And considering that entire point where they scored 3 goals in that short amount of time and to take the lead, I'm saying that shows character. That shows that they've come so far. We were struggling to do this against bigger teams at the start of the tournament. We lost to Netherlands so badly. We lost to Germany. We could not even score a goal against Germany. And then 1 goal against Great Britain while they scored 4 against us. So from there to here, it has been an incredible fight back from the Indian Eves. And considering how the men have gone about their job as well, it's disappointing. Everybody thought they could at least get a silver and probably play Australia in the final, but Belgium eventually went on to win the gold there in men's hockey. And now the women's game. Even though we have finished 4th, we are now the world's 7th ranked side. We have improved so much that our ranking has gone up, like by 3 spots, if I'm not wrong, in the middle of the tournament. So you can imagine that it won't happen if we have not been performing well. And for me, that shining moment of this entire Olympic campaign was that 1-0 victory against Australia, because Australia have been a dominant force in field hockey for years. Ever since from the 90s till 2000, we talked about how Australia were the 3-time Olympic champion. To beat them, to not even concede a single goal against them, tells you that mental strength they have, the kind of character they showed in those victories. They have definitely conquered quite a bit at the Tokyo Games, and hopefully from here we can only push forward, as they say, onwards and upwards for the Indian women's hockey team, Akshita.
Need to highlight here, Siddhant, is the progress that we've made in the last few weeks really of this Olympic campaign, the progress that the women's hockey team has made, and how these kind of campaigns, the focus by us in the media, all of this talk on social media also about these girls and their stupendous performance, it really inspires the youth as well. Let's take a look at how family members of these girls are also responding.
लड़ाई से क्या बाकी अगली जो नस्ल चल रही है लड़कियों की, जो अगले जनरेशन है, उन पे क्या असर पड़ेगा?
उनका बहुत अच्छा असर पड़ेगा।
हाँ जी,
वो पूरा जोर लगाएंगे वो भी।
आप
खुश हैं?
के लिए
रामपाल जी खुश हैं?
हाँ, मैं खुश हूँ, अब भी खुश हूँ मैं।
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर। हो गया सर, थैंक यू सर।
We'll continue getting you all the reactions from the family members also at this point. Of course, they're going to be heartbroken, but they know better than anyone what it's taken for the girls to reach this platform, to reach this level. Let's again cut across to Anisha, getting us those reactions from Captain Rani Rampal's house.
हम हार नहीं मान रहे इसको, अभी भी हम अपनी बेटियों की हार नहीं मान रहे हैं। उन बेटियों की हिम्मत है,
नहीं जी, जीती हैं आज,
उनकी हिम्मत है फिर भी।
और किस तरह से स्वागत करेंगे जब आएंगे?
बहुत अच्छी खुशी से करेंगे स्वागत।
पूरे देश की नजर इस टीम पे रही है, एक ऐतिहासिक काम किया है इस टीम ने, उनको क्या
संदेश क्या देना चाहेंगे आप?
संदेश देखो, सारे में बड़ी खुशी है कि 41 साल बाद
यहाँ पर हमारे सामने है,
जो टीम वहाँ से पहुँची है
कि वो खुश है।
हमारे को यही बड़ी खुशी है।
रामपाल जी, एक साधारण पिता की लड़की जब इस मुकाम तक पहुंचती है
बड़ी चुनौती
तो उस पिता के लिए कितना गर्व का पल होता है ये
सभी के लिए गर्व का पल होता है जी। एक खाली पिता के लिए नहीं, देशवासियों के लिए भी है, सभी के लिए है ये।
रामपाल जी 3 साल के बाद अगला ओलंपिक है, उसमें
लगातार
रानी खेलेंगे क्या? 4 साल के बाद
बताइए, आपके घर
अगला क्या कदम
के
रहेगा?
का जो लोगो है वो बना हुआ है, उसके बनाने के पीछे क्या रानी का मकसद था ओलंपिक जीतने को लेकर?
मकसद तो था, तभी तो ओलंपिक में खेल ली, ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं है।
घर की दीवार पे वो
प्रेरणा देने के लिए भी, दूसरों को प्रेरणा देने के लिए,
दृढ़ निश्चय के लिए कि हमें जीतना है, आगे भी उम्मीद बरकरार है।
अब भी यही बरकरार है। जिंदगी बहुत लंबी है संघर्ष की, कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है। अब नहीं तो जीतते रहे तो आगे भी।
अगली बार और ज्यादा मेहनत होगी और अगली बार पूरी कोशिश होगी अगले ओलंपिक पर।
अब मैं वही तो कह रहा ना, परमात्मा टाइम दे, हम उसका आभार करते हैं परमात्मा का।
अच्छा रामपाल जी, एक सवाल, जो ट्रेनिंग के लिए जो बातें थी,
This was the father of Rani Rampal, Rampal ji, who is saying that this was not a loss, this was a win for the daughters of India, that this is something that will inspire everyone, that his daughter and her team has fought very, very strongly, even till the last second. They did not lose hope, that they kept fighting even till the last second, and that is all that he could have expected, and he counts it as a win. He will be celebrating this when his daughter comes back home, because this has been a historic step for Indian women's hockey.
Such a beautiful message from Rani Rampal's father, and that's how we as a nation should feel. We should feel pride at how these girls have performed. We should be feeling amazingly proud of how well they put up a fight against some of the best teams in the world, from being knocked out in the Rio Olympics to coming fourth. It's no small feat. This may be a loss. We may not have a medal to show for it, but these girls can keep their head held high in these circumstances of putting up such a bold and strong fight, even for the bronze medal against Great Britain. Let me take this across now to Aishwarya Paliwal. She's joining us from Neha Goyal's house. Aishwarya, I understand that the family of Neha also was very, very emotional soon after the match got over. Similar message from them. They're saying that this is not a defeat. This is a win for us.
I'll just let the visuals speak for themselves. I'll ask Pradeep to show you, these eyes of the relatives, and especially eyes of the mother. She was holding the idol in her hand. Tears are welling up. अच्छा खेली?
आज अच्छा कर रही थी, आगे और आगे खेलेगी, आगे और हार की तो क्या हुई है,
कोई बात नहीं, हार गई,
आगे और खेलेगी, हार की तो कोई बात नहीं।
फोन पे बात करेंगी?
हाँ जी,
आप फोन पे बात करेंगे?
बिल्कुल करेंगे, और उसे समझाएंगे कि बेटा कोई बात नहीं, हार जीत लगी रहती है, और आने वाले टाइम में फिर जीतेंगे। ओलंपिक में जब जाएंगे सारे फिर इकट्ठे होंगे और फिर जीतेंगे।
आपको लगता है कि अगले, अच्छा ये बताइए कि अब तक की जो जिस तरीके से जर्नी रही है, बहुत मुश्किल रही है, आपको उम्मीद है कि अब यहाँ से जो जर्नी होगी उसमें कई लोगों का और सहयोग होगा, ऐसी उम्मीद है आपको?
बिल्कुल होगा, क्योंकि नेहा ने टीम ने अच्छा प्रदर्शन करा है और इस बार और अच्छा करेगी, और उम्मीद है कि हम और समझाएंगे और अच्छा अपने ध्यान पे देंगे क्या हमने गलतियां की हैं, क्या नहीं की हैं, उन गलतियों को सुधार के आने वाले ओलंपिक में हम फिर खेलेंगे अच्छे।
आप बहुत इमोशनल हैं इस समय, क्या आप सहानुभूति देंगे?
बिल्कुल देंगे, फोन पर समझाएंगे कि बेटा कोई बात नहीं, हार जीत लगी रहती है, बिल्कुल दिल में उदास मत हो, कोई
दिक्कत नहीं है। दिस इज व्हाट द रिलेटिव इज सेइंग, बट द मदर्स आईज have a completely different story to tell. The mother continuously crying ever since she realized what had happened. The mother in fact has given a lot, Akshita. She is the one who has been working in the factories to make sure Neha reaches where she is. The mother very upset, crying, but she still says the moment she will make that call to Neha in just a couple of hours, she will tell her she played very well, and the family is hopeful that the next Olympics will be much better. Back to you.
And we need to celebrate these girls, and we need to celebrate their families, all that they've given, their blood, sweat and tears, their sacrifices has ensured this historic moment at the Olympic stage. We may not have a medal to show for it, but their a historic feat at the Olympics. It's something we'll always remember as a nation, and we should. For years to come, we should talk about the performance of this women's hockey team who came from down and out to rise to the very top at the Olympics. It's been an amazing campaign, something that you see playing out in the movies perhaps, and that's why these girls chin up, keep their head held high, will come back to India proud, and we'll celebrate them because they deserve to be celebrated. Anisha Mathur is joining us live from Rani Rampal's house. Anisha, such a beautiful message from her father saying this isn't a defeat, this isn't a loss, this is a huge win. The strength, the capabilities that these girls showed, that's what we're celebrating.
Well, yes, Akshita, this is a win for Indian hockey. This is a win for Indian women because for the first time in history, our team has gone all the way to fight for the bronze. Of course, inside the house, there is a stunned silence. At the moment, we try to speak to Rani's mother, Rani's sister-in-law, but everyone inside the house is quite upset. They're not coming out. Rani's father had come out to speak to the media to give that beautiful statement that this is going to remain an inspiration for the next generations of girls who are going into hockey. This is something that is going to inspire more and more children to come out and play. And this is not a loss. He says that he will be celebrating for his daughter when she comes back home. He will be welcoming her with all the celebrations and all the dhoom dhadam that they had planned even earlier, because this has been a historic moment. But if you see her mother and her bhabhi, of course, with the upset faces. There was a stunned silence inside the house when the clock finally ran down and Britain won the match with the 4-3 lead. But the hope and more importantly, not just the hope, but the inspiration is still alive. The jazba is still alive to say that no matter what happened today, our daughters have done a brilliant job. They have struggled very hard, and they went up against some of the best teams in the world and came out fighting, came out near the top. And that is exactly what her father has said, that is the win for the country today. Back to you.
Every single one of those girls we're so proud of, who you see on your screens. Every single one of them has done the country proud, has scripted history for us at the Olympics. Medal or not, we have scripted history. The women there, simply with their josh, have in fact shown what we're capable of. Rani Rampal, Savita Punia, Sushila Chanu, Vandana Kataria, all of you take a bow. Nikki Pradhan, Deep Grace, Neha Goyal, Salima Tete, they've all done us proud. The Super 16, Navneet Kaur, Udita, Nisha, as well as Monica Malik, Sharmila Devi, Gurjeet Kaur, Navjot Kaur, all of you, 16 of you, have done India so very proud. And this is a moment that we'll always remember. We don't have a medal to show for it, but it doesn't matter really, because that match that united India that we were all watching early this morning was so close, and we could all see that they gave it their all. That's all we could really ask for, that they fight it out with their heart, and that's exactly what they did. You've never seen a game like that, a game of hockey like that, where against a team like Great Britain, which is known to be one of the best in the world, India put up such an amazing fight. Let's cut across to more reactions coming in from the family members, because they're talking about how, while this is a very emotional moment for them, they're proud of the girls.
तीन चार का उनका कोई जीतना नहीं है, लेकिन लड़कियों ने लास्ट लग भी हिम्मत नहीं आ रही है, और आगे भी हिम्मत नहीं आती है। वो लड़कियों ने बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया, हम इसको हार में नहीं मान रहे अपनी लड़की की टीम को। ये भी जीत है। रानी की स्वागत की तैयारियां वैसे ही होंगी जैसे पहले थी, अब भी खुशी से स्वागत होगा।
उसका स्वागत वैसे ही होगा जैसे पहले होना था, कोई बात नहीं, क्योंकि इतनी बड़ी बात है, 40-41 साल बाद फिर भी इस पोजीशन पे सेमीफाइनल भी खेला, फिर 3rd-4th पोजीशन पे फिर भी 2 गोल किए इसने, ये बहुत बड़ी मान वाली बात है।
Let's cut across to reaction coming in from the Haryana Chief Minister now.
सबको 50-50 लाख रुपए का और एक इनाम देने की मैं घोषणा करता हूं, और मैं आशा करता हूं कि इस अपने खेल को और बेहतर करते हुए अगली बार के किसी भी प्रदर्शन में और आगे बढ़े और गोल्ड का जो मेडल है वो जीत करके लाए, ये मेरी अपेक्षा है। आज इनको सबको मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, हरियाणा की जनता को बहुत बहुत बधाई।
Al-Khattar, the Haryana Chief Minister, they're saying that he will ensure 50 lakh reward for every single one of the girls from Haryana who was a part of this contingent, as a part of the hockey team. And while this is a commendable step, because, you know, it ensures that you give that much required recognition to the girls, it must be done on a regular basis. This shouldn't be a one-off thing where, you know, we're celebrating hockey because they've performed well right now. We need to continue to push and promote the sport. More reactions coming in. Let's cut across.
बच्चों ने बहुत मेहनत की और फिर पीछे हो गए एकदम से, तो उसमें क्या कह सकते हैं। ये तो हार जीत तो खेल का एक हिस्सा है और जैसे कि मतलब कि हिम्मत नहीं हारनी चाहिए अपने देश की बेटियों को और उनका जज्बा बरकरार रहे। आगे चाहेंगे कि मैं अगली बार मेडल जरूर लेके आए।
So the family members, and this is the message that we as a nation are also putting forth, all of us so proud of these girls. This may have been a loss, we may not have the bronze medal, but they won our hearts over with the commitment, the spirit that they've showed on the field there. It was heartbreaking really to see moments after the match. Siddhant is with us from the newsroom. Siddhant, moments after the match, it was really heartbreaking to see how these girls were breaking down on the field. It shows really how much this campaign meant to them. They got the attention, the love that they perhaps needed in every single one of their campaigns. It finally came through in the Olympics where the entire nation was cheering them on. But they're going to return to India with their heads held high, knowing that they gave it their all, knowing full well that the nation is in fact at this point celebrating their spirit and celebrating them.
No doubt, Akshita, a fantastic campaign for the Indian women, and of course it would have meant a lot if they would have won the bronze medal. And clearly what happened at the end of the game, you know, there's enough disappointment in them that shows you how much it means, how much it would have meant to them to have won the bronze medal, because they would not have come home empty-handed. And right now, as we know, of course, they can come where they'll hold
that
their
emotion,
heads high
Siddhant, of the girls. But they really, you know, chin up, head held high. They've done us so proud. Rajdeep Sardesai is with us. Rajdeep, how I wish like yesterday, you know, you were joining us and we were celebrating. We're still celebrating. Medal or not, we're still celebrating these women.
Absolutely. You know, I just tweeted Akshita just a few minutes ago saying, if you have a granddaughter, buy her a hockey stick. If you have a daughter, buy her a hockey stick. Maybe she will play for India one day. That's what our brave women in blue have done for the sport. Great spirit and skills. May not have won a medal, but trust me, they've won our hearts. And that's really what it is, Akshita. I think what the Indian women have done is surprised us. Because look, we were 12th in Rio. You know, we had not qualified for the Olympics before Rio. We finished 12th and last in women's hockey there. And then we had a chance for a medal. And, you know, going into that third quarter, 3-2 up, there was every possibility that we would win. We were fantastic today. In fact, I believe, having watched all the matches, this was the best that India has played. This is a team that we lost to badly in the group stages. But come a knockout match, we matched the Great Britain team toe-to-toe. They have more experience. They've had greater pedigree. They've won the gold. Remember in 2016, we matched them stick for stick, toe-to-toe. You know, Savita, what a goalkeeper. Rani Rampal leading from the front right through this tournament. Her tears were tears that we could all share. Each of these players, Vandana, you know, up front, fantastic. Neha Sharma, great ball skills. These are names for the future. You know, this is a young team. Many of these players are under the age of 25. They have one more Olympic, 100% in them 3 years from now. Who is to say we won't win silver, bronze? This is the start, Akshita. This is the start of a great journey, I believe, for Indian women's hockey, for the Indian woman. This has been Olympics to celebrate the rise of the Indian sportswoman, and our Indian hockey team has exemplified that spirit. Very, very proud. We should be very proud. I know it's easy to say to be proud in defeat, but there are moments like that. That the tears that the team has shed today, I believe, will be tears of joy 3 years from now. I have huge hopes in this Indian hockey team. All we've got to do is stay the course. And I think if the investments come, if the infrastructure is there, these girls are going to be inspirational. You know, names like Grace, names like Vandana, Rani, Neha, these are names that we will hear for a long time to come, hopefully in schools across the country, and many more young children will pick up a hockey stick. If I had a granddaughter, I'm still, unfortunately, neither of my children are married, but they do get married and have a granddaughter. Trust me, I will buy her a hockey stick for her 6th birthday.
That's so great to hear, Rajdeep. You know, Boria is also telling us about what played out after the match, and it's in a sense heartbreaking also. You know, when you hear about these girls, they were so invested in this campaign. They knew they had a chance here to bring home a medal. And what Boria is telling us is that, you know, it was so heartbreaking soon after. Savita broke down. She was crying. She was inconsolable. Rani, Gurjeet, all of them were crying on the field. The entire men's hockey team was there, rooting them on. And all of them stood up and clapped for this team, because, you know, there's a larger message than a medal here, Rajdeep. The larger message is about the sport of hockey, what it's done and what a transformation it will undergo now in the country. You know, already so many announcements coming in, and, you know, Rani's father perhaps has said it better than any of us can. This is not a loss. This is not a defeat. This is a win of the girls' spirit.
Absolutely. You know, Akshita, look at the journeys these girls have done. Many of them come from very poor, humble backgrounds. They've come from distant, remote parts of the country. They haven't had, for a long time in their early years, the kind of facilities that, you know, you take for granted sometimes in metropolitan India. And I think that journey in itself makes us so proud of them, because they symbolize an aspirational India. They symbolize social mobility. You know, they are girls. Rani Rampal's story is a story to live and die for. You know, a story of a girl whose father struggled as a cart driver, mother was a maid in several houses, and they worked and they struggled to convince society around them that their daughter could indeed have a, you know, play hockey in a skirt, go out there. These are the stories of our times. These are the true inspirational stories that make far more difference than just a slogan like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. These are the real Betis of India, and that's how they need to be projected. I really hope that the Prime Minister, who plans to invite many of our Olympians to Independence Day, also invites the women's team. They may not have won a medal, but they deserve to be there and become the pride and badge and honor of India, because they have done us, you know, they've made this great journey from, you know, the backwaters of a small village in Jharkhand or in Haryana or in Punjab or in Odisha, to come from Sundargarh, make this journey all the way to Tokyo and do us so proud. After having lost, remember, the first 3 games, to come back, to qualify for the quarterfinals, win their first match against a very good Australian team, then to you know, play with great distinction against Argentina, who've been world champions, then to take on the British, who won the Olympic gold last time. There was never a moment where these women did not look as if they did not belong to this stage. And that's, I think, important. They soaked in the pressure and they reveled in it. And I think when you see such heroes, I think it inspires many others. I do genuinely believe that this is a major moment, a turning moment for Indian hockey. Look, the cricketers will always be in the arc lights, but I think every 4 years when the Olympics come now, you will go with expectations. This is what, you know, sports does when you start winning. And I believe winning will become a habit for our Indian women's hockey team. And trust me, Paris, we will win a medal. I am convinced. Just stay with these young women. They're young, they're hungry, they've experienced defeat. Those tears are, Akshita, going to turn into tears of joy. And I think that's the spirit with which we should sort of look at what has happened today. Great performance by a great group of girls and their coach, you know, who again is a great journey. You know, he lost out. He was removed as the men's hockey coach, goes to the women's hockey coach. Doesn't take it as a demotion, but takes it as a challenge. I'm going to be honest, enjoyed this game even more at times than some of our men's hockey games, except yesterday. But this was fantastic. They were good. They were very good today. They played very well.
I think there are so many takeaways from this match, Rajdeep. It was such a thrilling
Gurjeet and her drag flicks.
Yeah, she did really well, and so many of them really in that match did so well that they ensured that they put up such a challenge for Great Britain. But you know, it's this spirit, it's their talent, it's the skill that they showed that we need to work on, we need to build on at this point. The Prime Minister has just tweeted, which you see on your screens there. Let me just quickly read out that tweet for you. We'll always remember the great performance of our women's hockey team at Tokyo 2020. They gave their best throughout. Each and every member of the team is blessed with remarkable courage, skill and resilience. India is proud of this outstanding team. That exactly is the point there, Rajdeep. The fact that, the Prime Minister has hailed them. The government has such a big role to play here as well in ensuring that these girls, build on the success, that it doesn't just, it's not just about a one-day celebration, that this translates into years and years of hockey now getting the support and backing that it needs.
Look, everyone has to go beyond tweeting. They've got to walk the talk. We in the media have to walk the talk. Akshita, when the Indian hockey team does well next time, please make it a headline. Don't only focus on what the Indian cricket team does. The Prime Minister and politicians have to also walk the talk. They've got to do what Naveen Patnaik did. He walked the talk. He sponsored the Indian men's and women's hockey team. He brought, in a sense, world-class infrastructure, gave the team the opportunity to play on those grounds at Bhubaneswar. That's what everyone has to start doing. Khelo India has to become a national movement. You can't cut the budget for Khelo India as we did 6 months ago in this country. You've got to, politicians across the spectrum like to latch on to success stories. They will latch on to our heroes. Fair enough. That's what they've done over the years, not just now, but for the last 70 years. Now you've got to walk the talk. You've got to truly embrace sport and a sporting culture. And the way to do that is invest in sport 365 days, 24/7. That's what's got to be done. I hope it is. I hope what Naveen Babu has done in Odisha is emulated in other parts of the country. And I think that will really revive Olympic sport. Let every state pick up one Olympic game.
As much as we talk about, the governments doing their bit about support, the biggest support system for these girls has been their families. And, while many of them were so emotional, were breaking down, they all said one thing, that these girls have won their hearts. That this is not a defeat, this is not a loss, this is a win. And perhaps the most instrumental reaction, which perhaps sums up our emotions as a nation, has been from Rani Rampal's father.
3-4 का उनका कोई जीतना नहीं है, लेकिन लड़कियों ने लास्ट लग भी हिम्मत नहीं आ रही है और आगे भी हिम्मत नहीं आती है। वो लड़कियों ने बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया। हम इसको हार में नहीं मान रहे अपनी लड़की की टीम को। ये भी जीत है। रानी की स्वागत की तैयारियां वैसे ही होंगी जैसे पहले थी। अब भी खुशी से स्वागत होगा।
उसका स्वागत वैसे ही होगा जैसे पहले होना था, कोई बात नहीं, क्योंकि इतनी बड़ी बात है। 40-41 साल बाद फिर भी इस पोजीशन पे सेमीफाइनल भी खेला, फिर 3rd-4th पोजीशन पे फिर भी 2 गोल किए इसने। ये बहुत बड़ी मान वाली बात है।
बच्चों ने बहुत मेहनत की और फिर पीछे हो गए एकदम से, तो उसमें क्या कह सकते हैं। ये तो हार जीत तो खेल का एक हिस्सा है। और जैसे कि कि हिम्मत नहीं हारनी चाहिए अपने देश की बेटियों को, और उनका जज्बा बरकरार रहे। आगे चाहेंगे कि मैं अगली बार मेडल जरूर लेके आए।
सर, हॉकी को दोबारा जिंदा किया इस टीम ने। इस लेवल तक फर्स्ट टाइम इंडियन वुमेन टीम हॉकी की पहुंची है, तो हॉकी की जीत हुई है। असलियत में रिजल्ट जो मर्जी मैच का हुआ हो।
बहुत ही बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन उन्होंने किया है। भले हम कांस्य मेडल तो नहीं जीत पाए हैं, लेकिन ये कहीं कांस्य मेडल से कम भी नहीं है कि इस 4थे स्थान पर भी आने के लिए जितना संघर्षपूर्ण इन्होंने खेल किया, तो मैं समझता हूँ इस बेहतर प्रदर्शन के इस खेलने के कारण से मैं आज हरियाणा की सभी जो 9 खिलाड़ी हैं, इनको भले ही ये 4थे स्थान पर आए हैं, लेकिन हरियाणा सरकार की ओर से इनको सबको 50-50 लाख रुपए का और एक इनाम देने की मैं घोषणा करता हूं। और मैं आशा करता हूं कि इस अपने खेल को और बेहतर करते हुए अगली बार के किसी भी प्रदर्शन में और आगे बढ़े और गोल्ड का जो मेडल है वो जीत करके लाए।
मैंने तो सारी मेहनत कर गया, लेकिन घर पर वारसल काटती थी, चमड़ा काटती थी, तार बांधती थी, जूता फैक्ट्री काम करती थी, फॉर्म फैक्ट्री काम करती थी, और जो काम आता था वो कर लेती थी। इसके पापा कुछ नहीं करते थे। लेकिन फिर मेरी बेटियाँ सरकारी स्कूल में पढ़ती थी। एक लड़की ले गई उसको ग्राउंड में, तो उसने प्रीतम ने खिलाने लग गई थी। सवेरे 4 बजे उठती थी, 5 बजे ग्राउंड में जाती थी, कभी 9 बजे आती थी, कभी 10 बजे आती थी। शाम को फिर जाती, लेकिन साथ मेरा प्रीतम ने दिया है, जो कुछ देती थी वो ही देती थी, मेरे पास कुछ नहीं था।
प्रीतम उनकी कोच है।
हाँ जी।
So reactions coming in from the family members, they're all obviously very, very emotional, but they've sacrificed so much for these girls to make it to that stage. I'd even dare say, Rajdeep, more than the men's hockey team, you know, for these girls to reach this kind of a stage, the sacrifices would have been that much greater because of the kind of stigma that they face, I'm sure, on a daily basis from society, even their families.
Well, we saw the story of Vandana yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of caste slurs that were allegedly hurled at her family, you know, which was shocking, because here she is a star. And I think we need to recognize that we need to emerge beyond these sort of social stigmas that are attached to, you know, women playing sport. I think that's gone. I think that the stigma of women playing sport, which perhaps was there for a while, could they play in short skirts, all of that is over. These hockey players have ended all those, have broken all those walls. They've broken a glass ceiling. Let's also be clear that, as I said, they come from small districts like Sundargarh, which has really become a gud of Indian hockey. You know, I think what you will see now with synthetic surfaces coming up in places like Sundargarh is many young girls now emulating what Grace and others from Jharkhand, from Odisha are doing for the sport. Haryana and Punjab have always been a bastion of Indian hockey. It's now spread towards the east. It's been happening over a period of time, but now it's a sustained growth from north to east. That's the geographical transition that we are seeing. So these girls who come from these villages perhaps didn't have the kind of facilities that generation next will have. There will now be synthetic surfaces in every district. For example, in Odisha, that's what Dilip Tirki, the former India captain, told us yesterday. We're going to see that hopefully happen in Haryana. I see that Manohar Lal Khattar has announced cash rewards. Now, if the cash rewards are then followed by having those synthetic surfaces, that's going to be key to have AstroTurf available in all these key districts of northern and eastern India where the game is played. That's how you will get many more Rani Rampals. That's how you will get many more Savitas. I mean, Savita was fantastic today. You know, there were occasions when the British were sort of pressing hard and, you know, penalty corner after penalty corner. Eventually, yes, the Indians wilted, but it took a while. You know, to be a drag flicker is not easy, but you've got now in Gurbi a fantastic drag flicker. She scored a couple of goals in this match. She scored a couple of goals in the last match, and she's showing, you know, that what the men can do, we can do equally well. We've got great drag flickers in the men's team, but we've also got very good drag flickers now in the women's team. So I think it's the manner in which they've broken glass ceilings that's going to be truly inspirational. I think, you know, this women's hockey team is going to really scale peaks that we never imagined. And that's really the heartening part, that this is not the end of the journey, this is the start of it.
You know, we've got a first reaction that's coming from Coach Marine also, Rajdeep. I just want to read this out for our viewers. Boria is there, so he's trying to speak to the girls. You know, they're very, very emotional right now. He's had a chance to speak to the coach, and the coach has told us, Coach Marine is saying, I told the girls, ensure you don't have legs anymore at the end of the game. They haven't won a medal, but they won something bigger. They won 1 billion hearts, inspired millions of girls. And with that message, I'm slipping into a very short break. It doesn't ring truer than that. What the coach has said, you know, even after the game, Boria was telling us how the coach was lifting girls up, hugging them, consoling them as they were breaking down on the field. But the coach's message about how this win has inspired millions of girls rings true across the country today. I'm slipping into a very short break. We'll be right back on this broadcast. Stay with us.